Hey there, second graders. This week we're talking a lot about measurement. Some measurement will be review of things like measuring money or measuring time using analog clocks. But we're starting the week with something new, measuring temperature. You know that temperature refers to how hot or cold something is, how warm or cool. We measure temperature by reading what's called a thermometer. I'm going to show you what a thermometer is, how we use it, and so on. Before I get started, I want to say that in the United States of America, we measure temperature using thermometers that refer to degrees in Fahrenheit. This word Fahrenheit will show up a lot, and it just refers to the measurement that we use. It's a unit. 1 degree Fahrenheit is a unit that we use to measure temperature, just like we measure how long something is with inches or minutes when we refer to time. So degrees Fahrenheit is what we're going to be using. I have included a thermometer that shows Fahrenheit and Celsius. A lot of real thermometers have Fahrenheit as well as Celsius. So Celsius is a degree of measurement that other countries use. You'll notice that they're pretty different. The degrees Fahrenheit go up to 120. The degrees Celsius go only up to 50. So it's very different. We're going to be focusing on the Fahrenheit side. I just wanted to include this so you have some exposure to that as well. So this F stands for Fahrenheit. We are looking at the Fahrenheit side of the thermometer. Now, the way a thermometer works is it has this liquid inside. Now this is a picture. Obviously it's not liquid. It's representing a real thermometer. Thermometers have liquid inside. It used to be what's called mercury, but they found out that was poisonous. So now it's a different kind of liquid, but the liquid expands when it gets hotter, and the red line rises, and it shrinks the colder it is. So the red line goes down. So if you've got a thermometer that stops at 20 degrees Fahrenheit, that's very cold. That's like a winter type temperature. And if the red line goes up to, like 100 degrees, that is very hot. That is a summertime temperature. So this area in the middle is what we would call mild temperatures, in between temperatures that are comfortable to us as humans. The way you read a thermometer is you look at this red line and you see where it stops. Now I'm actually going to lower this, and I'm just going to practice reading this thermometer. So the red goes up to here. I find the top. And where does it stop? This one stops exactly at the number 70. So I know that this thermometer shows 70 degrees. When you're writing about temperature, you always include this tiny little circle at the top after the second number. And that just represents the word degrees. It's a symbol that represents a word. So 70 degrees. You also need to include whether it's Fahrenheit or Celsius. It's very important that you distinguish between the two, because 70 degrees Fahrenheit, it's pretty warm, but it's also comfortable. 70 degrees Celsius doesn't even show up on this thermometer, which means that it would be hotter, much hotter than even 120 degrees. Very important distinction between these two. So always include the F for Fahrenheit after you record a temperature. Let's do a different one. I'm going to shade in just a little bit more and then try to read it. Okay, 70. Oh, are you noticing that this thermometer is not stopping on a real number? It's stopping on this tick mark. I'm noticing that this thermometer only shows tens. And after every 10, there's another mark and then another 10. So it seems like this tick mark that keeps showing up is always halfway between the two tens. It goes from 0 to 10 with this halfway point. What number is halfway between 0 and 10? If you said 5, you're correct. Let's try skip counting by 5s. 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. This makes sense. So I've just found out that if there's only one line between the two temperatures, that represents a 5. Each line represents 5 degrees. So I know now that every line or tick mark represents 5 degrees. I'm not going to start at 0 and skip count by 5s. That would be a waste of my time because I've already passed all these temperatures. I don't need to sit here and count them. They're already met. We've gone beyond that. The liquid in the thermometer has risen beyond these. So I'm not going to sit here and count these degrees. I'm going to start at right before the tick mark. So 70. If we're skip counting by 5s, what comes after 70? If you said 75, you're correct. This is 75 degrees. Over here I would write 75 degrees, not Celsius, but Fahrenheit. Let's do one more before you go work on your own. I'm going to actually lower my temperature now. I'm going to lower it to here. What is the temperature now? I know that every tick mark represents 5. 50 is here. This is 5 more than 50. 5 more than 50 is 55 degrees Fahrenheit. Today you're going to be looking at thermometers that have intervals or increments of 5. Skip counting by 5s. You're going to read the temperatures and then record what each one is using degrees Fahrenheit.